So he spent this amount of time doing a lot of researching of all of his vast library of books, which were books on the martial arts, all combative arts, all hand-to-hand arts, whether they be Western, Eastern, modern, or ancient, all types of philosophy, psychology, especially in the motivational field now that he was injured and his future was in jeopardy. He felt he needed to self-motivate himself all the time.
Incapable de libérer son énergie physiquement, Bruce Lee la canalise et l'utilise sur le plan intellectuel. Les écrits du Bouddha, d'Alan Watts, de Carl Rogers, de Lao Tse, de Frederick Pearls, de Daisetsu Suzuki ou de Jiddu Krishnamurti deviennent ses compagnons de tous les instants. Parmi tous ces auteurs, il est particulièrement interpellé par la pensée de Krishnamurti, qui déclare que la vérité ne peut être organisée sans immédiatement perdre toute sa validité.
You have to be a light to yourself. Not the light of a professor or an analyst or a psychologist or the light of Jesus or the light of the Buddha. You have to be a light to yourself in a world that is utterly becoming dark.
I believe that part of the concept that he enjoyed so much about Krishnamurti's philosophy was one of self-reliance, and if you're looking for truth, you must look inward rather than outward.
Bruce commence à coucher sur le papier sa nouvelle vision et la manière de l'appliquer aux arts martiaux. Ses écrits rempliront au final 7 épais volumes. Lentement, il reprend du poil de la bête. Il remonte la pente. Même si sa blessure au dos continuera de le tourmenter, il prouvera aux sceptiques et à la communauté médicale qu'il se trompait, et il se rétablira en à peine 6 mois. Non seulement il peut de nouveau décocher des coups de pied, mais il est devenu un meilleur artiste martial. L'épreuve qu'il vient d'endurer, combinée à la nouvelle vision qu'il a développée, renforce encore sa conviction que dans le combat à main nue, seul compte le travail effectué par l'élève sur lui-même. L'instruction passe au second plan. Même la pratique si chère à son cœur, le Jeet Kune Do, le plus scientifique de tous les arts martiaux, n'échappe pas à cette analyse au vitriol. Bruce se rend compte qu'il a commis une erreur en tentant de créer une voie et un style de combat ultime qui puisse ensuite être enseigné à des élèves. Il croyait l'avoir trouvé dans la voie chinoise du kung-fu, puis en créant la voie du point qui intercepte. Mais il arrive à la conclusion que la vérité ultime ne se trouve pas dans une voie ou dans un style, mais au fond de l'âme de chaque individu.
I do not believe in styles anymore. I mean, I do not believe that there is such thing as like a Chinese way of fighting or the Japanese way of fighting or whatever way of fighting, because unless human beings have 3 arms and 4 legs, we will have a different form of fighting. But basically, we have only 2 hands and 2 feet. So styles tends to not only separate man, you know, because they have their own doctrines, and then the doctrine became the gospel truth, you know, that you cannot change, you know. But if you do not have styles, if you just say, well, here I am, you know, as a human being, how can I express myself totally and completely?
Then it's just 2 people who are being aware of their own movements, who are observing the other person's movements and being able to fit in with that person's movements so that there's no set pattern of movements, no, well, when he does this, then I do this. It's just a total freedom to react to what the other person does. In fact, Bruce inscribes it perfectly on the back of this medallion, where he wrote the words that have become his motto. And it says, using no way as way, having no limitation as limitation. Over the years, this phrase has been somewhat misinterpreted, and people think of using no way as way to mean anything I do is okay, and anything I do is my way. I don't think Bruce really intended it to mean that way. He just meant not to be boxed in by a certain way, so that you never get into a situation where there's only one response. You adapt to what the situation calls for. I think Bruce had that down pretty well.
When there is a way, then there lies the limitation.
To me, okay, to me, ultimately, martial art means honestly expressing yourself. Now, it is very difficult to do. I mean, it is easy for me to put on a show and be cocky and be flooded with a cocky feeling and then feel like pretty cool and all that. Or I can make all kinds of phony things, you see what I mean? Blinded by it. Or I can show you some really fancy movement. But to express oneself honestly, not lying to oneself, and to express myself honestly, that, my friend, is very hard to do.
That's the whole key right there. You know, do you know yourself? Do you know your skills? Do you know your weaknesses? Are you able to adjust your life to compensate for whatever's happening and take advantage of whatever's happening in terms of pluses and minuses? That was his approach, and he was an incredible example of that. You know. A walking model of that.
Sa prestation dans la série télévisée Longstreet lui vaudra les louanges de la critique. On y voit Lee tenter d'enseigner à son élève, incarné par James Franciscus, le but ultime de son art martial.
Lee, I want you to teach me what you did the other night.
I already told Miss Bell I can't.
I'm willing to empty my cup in order to taste your tea.
Your open-mindedness is cool, but it doesn't change anything. I don't believe in system, Mr. Longstreet, nor in method. And without system, without method, what's to teach?
But you had to learn. You weren't born knowing how to take apart three men in a matter of seconds.
True, but I found the cause of my ignorance.
Well, help me find mine.
Bruce Lee avait découvert la vérité qui dit qu'il faut suivre la non-voie comme voie et avoir pour seule limite l'absence de limite. Sa mission était désormais de communiquer cette vérité au monde. Il décide que pour ce faire, le plus efficace n'est pas de donner des cours particuliers, mais de diffuser son message par le biais du grand écran. Son objectif sera donc de créer un